Welcome back to the deep dive. You've brought us an incredibly dense, fascinating stack of source material today, plunging us into a world where the stakes are higher than ever before.
They really are.
We are focusing entirely on a fate so dark and delicate, which is Book 4 of the compelling Faith saga by Sophia St. Germain.
Yeah.
And this book, I mean, it doesn't just deliver plot, it kind of shatters the foundation of its entire fictional universe.
It absolutely does. What we're analyzing here isn't just a fantasy sequel. It's a detailed exploration of a world fracturing under both internal prejudice and external attack.
Right.
We're in Havland, specifically the regions of Elo, Vastala, and the critical rallying point of Carina immediately after Ryanor's death.
So the old order is just gone.
Gone. But the distrust between Fae, humans, and shifters is probably higher than it's ever been.
And hanging over all of them is this existential threat of the Fae invasion from the Oakhards.
Yeah.
The entire realm is caught between, an external war and an internal civil collapse. So our mission today is to unpack this agonizing situation. I mean, how do Lesia and her allies forge a functional, united front when the world seems determined to tear itself apart?
That's the core question.
We need to look at the fragile truce, the crushing political and magical burdens placed on the leaders, this dark, complex prophecy surrounding Lesia's terrifying new power.
And the profound emotional costs, what everyone has to pay, personally, just to survive.
It's a study in leadership forged under fire, isn't it?
It is, and the sources show that the path to saving the world required self-acceptance and political sacrifice above all else.
Okay, let's unpack this.
So the book opens not with triumph, but with sheer desperation.
Yeah, no victory party here.
Not at all. The setting itself, it reflects the emotional state of the realm. We're on Carina, a place described as being covered in these dark clouds with grimy soot clinging to every stone and dead tree.
And the rain. The sources mention this relentless heavy rain.
It's pervasive. There is no joy. There's only turmoil, which is, the perfect backdrop for the immediate political crisis.
It sets a mood that is absolutely oppressive. And the immediate problem they face isn't military strategy or anything like that. It's ethical.
It's what to do with the prisoners.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And these aren't just the invading Oakhards Fae.
No, it's also local rebels and even some Vastala Fae who were loyal to Ryanor. All of them held in these horrible cellars chained to walls.
It's a humanitarian crisis overlaid on a political powder keg.
And Lesia, our protagonist, is the one who steps up to force that ethical debate. Even though she's incredibly weakened, and we'll get into the magical cost of that later, she insists on humane treatment.
And joint decision-making, which is key.
Critically, she argues that they cannot leave them chained down there, especially while a massive storm is raging outside.
I found her reasoning so compelling because it wasn't about forgiveness or anything soft like that.
No, it was about basic leadership integrity.
Right. She points out that the cells are basically death traps. They offer no real protection from the storm, whereas their own cabins, even if they're wet and cold, at least have whole roofs.
She's making the case that if they're going to fight for a better world, they can't start by repeating the cruelty of the rulers they just overthrew.
Exactly. And this immediately establishes her moral authority, which contrasts so sharply with the political suspicion she immediately faces.
Oh, immediately.
Yeah.
Because despite the fact that Lesia literally took a dagger to the chest,
Died for them,
and then summoned thousands of dead souls to save the day, a feat of magic and sacrifice few could ever match, she is still met with just overwhelming distrust.
It's the ultimate no good deed goes unpunished scenario. So why is this suspicion so immediate and aggressive, even after everything she did?
Well, it's a three-layered prejudice. First, she's a halfling, mixed heritage. That immediately marks her as less than in the eyes of many Fae nobles, particularly the entrenched Vastala elite.
Okay, so that's strike one.
Strike one. Second, she was cast out of Elo, meaning she lacks any formal political legitimacy or institutional loyalty in their eyes.
And third,
She is the niece of Ryanor, the murdered king. To them, she is tainted by both her bloodlines and by her exile. She's an outsider from every angle.
the sources capture this tension perfectly. When a high-ranking Fae noble, we can call him Lord Vex, confronts her during the meeting.
It's a calculated, brutal political attack disguised as a question. It's designed to just completely delegitimize her.
And the quote is just devastating.
It is. He challenges her, saying, and I'm quoting here, "You're not Fae, at least not entirely, and I understand you were cast out of Elo. And it was your uncle who put us in this position, forcing this disastrous war in the first place."
Wow. He hits all 3 points in one go. Just twist the knife.
He really does.
So she is faced with a choice. Either she retreats or she claims a power base based on who she actually is.
And she chooses the latter. She delivers this truly galvanizing rallying cry.
She just owns it.
She owns her marginalized identity and pivots it into this revolutionary political platform. She counters that she's the only person qualified to lead precisely because she represents the shunned.
She says she's there for the people who haven't had a voice, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The halflings, the shunned ones, and yes, the shifters, because we drove them to this. She essentially accuses the established powers of creating the very chaos they now fear.
I think the most shocking part of her speech is when she turns the entire conflict on its head. She tells the nobles that their internal prejudice and constant division, that's the real problem.
Right. She says, you keep making the same mistakes over and over and over. You are the real threat to our world.
She's not talking about the Oakguard's Fae in that moment.
She's talking about them in that room.
And that is the breaking point.
Oh, yeah. The fragile truce just implodes. The sources describe humans waving their fists, threatening violence, while Fae start actively using magic sparks of fire, drops of water, strange energies.
Sticking to the air, it sounds like pure chaos.
Total chaos. Lush, the regent of Elo, and Ivory, the interim ruler of Vastala, are both screaming orders, trying to calm their people down, but both sides are drawing weapons. They're closing in for a full-scale civil war, right there in the meeting hall.
And Merrick, the guardian of death and Lycia's mate, he recognizes the danger. He says, this is about to get bad. I'm getting her out.
But this is precisely the moment Lycia doesn't need external aid. This is where her strange, new, terrifying power manifests.
Yes, and we need to pause here, because this is the first deep look at the consequence of her recent return from death.
It is. Merrick feels a physical jolt, a strange current running from Lycia's soul right into his.
And she starts to glow?
A soft, ethereal glow, which then illuminates the translucent people around them, the thousands of souls she commanded during the battle that saved Haviland's.
That mental image alone is terrifying. She's just standing there, surrounded by the remnants of the dead, visible only as soft, glowing shadows.
The sources say the sheer silent power of this manifestation is so strong it instantly forces silence. Her voice shifts, becoming eerie, strong, and soft all at once, commanding obedience through sheer unnatural terror.
And here's the ethical difference, though. She doesn't just wield them like a weapon.
No, she performs a deep, formal bow to the souls and thanks them. Thank you for your help.
Which shows she views them as allies, not just tools.
Right. It's the difference between a queen of shadows who commands out of love and one who commands out of force.
And the insight we get through Merrick is so important here. When he takes her hand to steady her, the jolt runs down his spine. But instead of chaos, the whispers around him.
Which are usually just noise.
Right. They sharpen into clear thoughts and feelings. He realizes these souls love his mate Lycia.
And he hears a clear, gentle voice. It's your love that flows through this room, son.
That's a massive thematic reversal. The power she wields, the power of the dead, the terror of the shade. It's fundamentally rooted not in death, but in her capacity for immense, selfless love and sacrifice.
That's what allowed the souls to bind to her in the first place. But this power, it comes at a visible, immediate cost.
She's left absolutely exhausted, pale, suffering nosebleeds, dizzy.
And Merrick knows the toll, because the gods warned him that using this power would have consequences that harm not just Lycia, but him too, because of their deep mate bond.
So this terrifying magical fix to their civil war it's not sustainable.
Not at all. They bought themselves a moment of forced silence, but the underlying geopolitical issue, the lack of a legitimate unifying authority, remains.
The magical solution is deadly, so they have to pivot immediately to a political one.
Which brings us right to the dramatic, unexpected marriage of Lush and Ivory.
It's an incredible shift, from life-or-death magic to high-stakes political maneuvering.
And the need for this union is driven by the internal resentment that Lycia's actions, however necessary, made worse.
The Vastala Fae are still furious over Reiner's death.
Exactly. Killed by his halfling niece. And stability is paramount, especially with the Oakguard's Fae gathering power. So Lush, the regent of Elo, and Ivory, the interim ruler of Vastala, they are the only two people with the authority to bridge this chasm.
And we have to remember Lush's complicated identity. He's not just the regent. He's a human halfling shifter.
The son of a rebel leader, someone who himself walks the line between these divided groups. Ivory, representing the ancient Fey lineage of Vestala, is his opposite in so many ways.
So their union sends this incredibly powerful message of inclusion and cross-species acceptance.
And the solution itself is put forth by Dedrick Reinsdor, a key Fey noble, who utilizes a piece of ancient Fey law, of formal mating or marriage.
The rationale is just fascinatingly cynical and protective at the same time.
It is. Reinsdor highlights that under this ancient, largely unhonored rule, it is forbidden for Vestala Fey to harm someone's mate and anyone they might love.
So their wedding vows become a literal legal defense for the entire human population of Elo.
Exactly. By Lush and Ivory formally mating, any Vestala Fey seeking revenge against the humans or halflings is legally and magically forbidden from causing them harm.
It's a protection treaty wrapped up in a wedding.
It is, and for Lush, we get a deep look into his internal monologue, and it's just pure heavy duty. He consciously accepts this as a personal sacrifice.
He pushes away those lingering thoughts of a happy ending with Lesia.
He accepts that prejudice and Havlan's meant that a future with her was a fantasy he needed to discard. He truly believes he is making a political sacrifice for the greater good.
The sources detail how he rationalizes it, right? By thinking about Ivory's longevity.
Yeah, he thinks of his own life as merely a blip in her almost eternal life, which eases his guilt about binding her to him. He sees himself as the necessary political sacrifice.
And Ivory, for her part, is completely pragmatic. She agrees instantly.
Instantly, she declares that a true bond, mated leaders, and a joint council will unite Vestala and Elo. It is, at first, a cold, calculated transaction of power.
But this is where the narrative shines, transforming a political arrangement into something genuine.
Yes, the sources track the subtle evolution of their relationship. They show that shared burdens and vulnerability are powerful aphrodisiacs for these two war-weary leaders.
And the first sign that this isn't just politics is the St reveal.
Lush is completely blindsided. The mate bond, something Fey take for granted, suddenly manifests for him, barreling into his senses with Ivory's true scent. Shipwood of crisp sails and summer wind.
He's shocked. He realizes the magical bond is choosing them, overriding their political intentions.
And Ivory's reaction confirms it. She apologizes, mumbling, "It'll get easier," which shows she not only recognized the mate bond forming, but was struggling with it herself.
The political facade is gone. They now have this real magical connection they can't deny or fake.
And the relationship deepens through shared weakness. After a devastating battle against rebels, Ivory, the strong, stoic Fey ruler, she breaks down.
Completely. She confesses her profound fear about leading Vestala into a war she might lose and feeling utterly overwhelmed.
And Lush responds by sharing his own profound isolation. Since becoming regent, he's been lonely, constantly navigating treacherous political waters without any true allies.
They realize they are two burdened individuals sharing the same crushing weight of leadership.
And finding solace in that shared space. It's beautiful to read.
The moment where Loesch tends to her head wound is so profoundly intimate.
It is. He starts gently braiding her hair away from the injury, and he reveals that he learned the skill from his childhood caretaker, Gaia. It's such a domestic, tender detail contrasting with the violence they're immersed in.
And this act of tenderness frees him to be honest. He confesses he loves her, even her notoriously argumentative nature.
And this all culminates, not in some planned romantic moment, but in a kiss right after the battle, cementing their relationship as a true partnership, built on mutual respect and shared command.
This political commitment then catalyzes Loesch's final personal transformation. We see this climax during the massive battle against the Oakguard's Fae.
When his mother, the rebel shifter who defined his conflicted identity for so long, appears in feline form,
Specifically intending to kill him.
to kill him, she sees his duty as a betrayal of her cause. And this is a moment of total reckoning for Loesch.
He's been shadowed by his mother's rebel identity for years.
But in this moment, he sees her for what she is, a toxic, destructive force aiming to undermine the unity he is fighting to establish, and he finally rejects her entirely.
The sources describe him embracing his purpose, transforming fully into a massive lion, a form he had only seen a pelt of before.
Which suggests he's finally accepting the full, powerful nature of his shifter lineage, tying into the symbolic strength and royalty of the lion.
It's a complete shedding of the past. He kills his mother and throws her body overboard. The text calls it a final shedding of his mother's shadow.
He accepts his role not as a half-breed politician, but as a true, unified warrior leader.
And Ivory, watching this terrifying display, she responds with fierce loyalty, pride, and total acceptance.
She doesn't flinch. She doesn't fear his shifter side. She just whispers, "Let's kill some fucking enemies, husband."
That one line, husband, seals it.
It does. The political marriage is now cemented in blood, power, and mutual respect. They are not just leaders of two realms, they are a formidable warrior couple.
Their sacrifice and union create the necessary foundation, but the true salvation of Havilands requires grappling with the ancient, dangerous lore that governs their world.
The prophecy of the veiled queens.
This is where we stop talking about ships and political treaties and start talking about concentrated magic and the terrifying real nature of the divine.
And the transition here is sharp because the magical cost is immediate. As we noted, Lessia is deteriorating rapidly after using her soul power.
Pale, dizzy, constant nosebleeds, utterly exhausted.
The power is too immense for her body to contain. The sources say her soul feels like it's fighting to escape the physical constraints of her body.
And because of their deep mate bond, Merrick is mirroring her physical weakness.
So the two witch sisters, Soria and Pelly the Guardians, they step in to explain the frightening mechanics. They confirm that Lessia's soul is trying to detach, and continued use of the power is slowly killing them both.
It's a ticking clock.
It is. And the sources reveal a moment of heartbreaking defiance from Merrick. Lessia asks why he didn't tell her about the danger sooner.
And he confesses that the gods warned him explicitly that using the power would have catastrophic consequences for her.
But he told them to go fuck themselves.
That one line just summarizes his commitment. He chose her life and their immediate survival over fear of divine retribution, knowing the cost.
And the witch sisters then have to explain the fundamental rules of magic in Havilands, introducing the concept of the guardians in balance.
They explain that the guardians originally created the realm not for power, but specifically to maintain balance.
To prevent magic from becoming too concentrated or dominant, it's a system of magical checks and balances.
And the guardians, the witches, were created specifically to counter imbalance, and their own power is naturally limited.
Right. They can only cast spells when certain elements are in the right place, like the moon, sea, or sun, or when they are on sacred ground. This limitation is key.
Unlike the Fae or Shifters, whose magic is powerful but requires energy or focus.
The Guardian's power is intrinsically tied to external natural conditions, ensuring they can never completely dominate. And this principle of natural checks against overwhelming power underpins everything.
Which leads directly to the prophecy of the Veiled Queens.
Yes. If the Guardians were created to maintain balance, the Veiled Queens are nature's ultimate, terrifying, reactive measure. They only appear when another power like Reiner's tyrannical, concentrated magic or the terrifying power of the self-proclaimed gods becomes too dominant.
It's nature forcing a correction.
Exactly. But the true world-shattering revelation comes when an old half-witch, a Fey witch halfling, reveals deep lore to Param. This information fundamentally changes the status quo for everyone in Halflands.
Hold on. Are you saying everything Lessia and the people of Havilands believe about the divine, everything their entire religious and magical framework is founded on, is a lie?
A lie manufactured by ancient, self-serving Fae. That is precisely what the sources reveal.
Wow.
The half-witch explains that in the very beginning, all races, Fae, shifters, humans, and the future gods, were one people, Fae.
And the current gods were just the most powerful Fae.
The most powerful Fae. They began consorting only with their own kind, concentrating magic until they were immensely powerful, and then they separated the races, creating a reality where they were worshipped as deities.
That's insane. It's not divinity, it's manipulation on a cosmic scale.
Yeah.
They manufactured reality to secure their own power base.
And the guardians and witches. They were created specifically to keep the balance against this concentrated, self-serving power that the gods had accumulated.
So a half-witch's existence itself is a tragic warning.
It is. Being both Fae and witch without balance is impossible, leading to an early death, which mirrors Lessia's own dangerous situation.
So Lessia isn't just fighting a political war or an invading force. She's fighting a powerful, ancient oligarchy masquerading as divinity.
Absolutely. And this lore connects immediately to her own fate through the fatal prophecy. This is delivered in two stages. First, by Merrick's deceased parents, who appear as clear, powerful souls.
And then by Karam, who is briefly possessed by an ancient magic entity.
Right, and the possessed Karam states that the gods warped an original blessing and severely abused the fundamental balance of the world. And then comes the critical identity reveal for Merrick.
He is the guardian of death.
His own role in this cosmic drama is confirmed. And the full prophecy spells out the terrifying solution to Lessia's imminent demise.
No queen may rule alone. Like earth needs water, like darkness needs light. A queen needs her mirror, the life to her death.
It's beautiful and horrifying all at once. Peli the witch has to clarify this abstract concept for Lesia.
Right, because Lesia is the queen of shadows. She's the one who came back from death, representing the dark side of that balance.
And she needs the one who clings to life to survive.
So if Lesia, the queen of shadows, rules alone, the concentrated power will consume itself,
resulting in the death of both her and Merrick, the guardian of death. They are two halves of an essential balance, and Lesia is missing her mirror, the life queen.
And to make the task even more daunting, Anxel, an ancient and powerful Fey mind wielder, adds another layer to this lore.
Yes. Axel cites dreams that mandate 5 queens. There must be 5 queens awakened to save them all.
Which ties Lesia's immediate personal survival to a greater multi-queen destiny necessary to prevent the world from burning and fracturing entirely.
This is the core conflict now. Lesia must find this life to her death queen, but time is running out. This terrifying magical destiny forces her to choose between her immediate duty to the war and the terrifying path to self-preservation.
And that pressure pushes her into the emotional gauntlet, forcing her to confront what she truly wants versus what she feels obligated to do for Havilands.
And she is completely paralyzed by choice. The sources describe her feeling pulled in multiple opposing directions.
Toward the war, toward the unknown path to find her mirror, toward just running away with Merrick for simple, selfish peace.
Or toward her new duties in Vestala. She feels the ropes of fate and duty might tear her apart until the only thing left is a broken queen of nothing.
She is incapable of choosing self-preservation. She's already died for them once, and she's mentally prepared to sacrifice herself again for her friends and the realm.
And Merrick recognizes this self-destructive pattern, so seeing her decline and understanding her deep-seated duty complex, he takes a beautiful, massive risk.
He orchestrates a final, organized act of love designed to sway her decision by removing her obligation.
He collects letters from their closest friends, essentially issuing Lesia a collective pardon.
The content of these letters is phenomenal, showing how deeply her friends understand her burden. Lush's letter is the most politically and emotionally significant.
It is. He formally absolves her of all duties to Havilands. He praises her kindness and loyalty, recognizing everything she's done.
But then he explicitly tells her to redirect that loyalty inward. Fight for your life and find love and time and freedom and peace.
Lush gives her permission, as a fellow ruler, to prioritize her own survival and happiness over the realm's immediate needs.
Calla's letter is wonderfully blunt.
It is. She says she hopes Lesia won't even be there when she gets back, emphasizing that Lesia needs to truly see herself for all she's done, a hero who deserves rest, not endless war.
And Frelina's letter is the most direct plea for self-interest.
Just begging Lesia to go with Merrick, arguing Lesia already died for us, and now it is time to be selfish and enjoy her life with the Death Whisperer.
The collective message lands powerfully. Lesia realizes these aren't instructions, but an offer of choice.
Her friends, the people she was fighting to protect, have collectively released her from the crushing burden of duty. By giving her their blessing, they make the selfish choice the right choice.
And accepting this, she finally agrees to leave with Merrick to search for the Balance Queen and the path forward.
She understands that her own survival is now the key to saving the world.
But before the primary couple rides off into the sunset, we get crucial emotional resolution for 2 other key pairings, starting with Rain and Frelina.
Yes. Rain, the formidable warrior, is completely paralyzed by guilt over losing his soulmate, Solana.
He's actively avoiding Frelina, thinking he doesn't deserve her. He thinks he's too old, 4 centuries old, and incapable of moving on.
It's a very relatable internal block, and Lesia, having traversed the afterlife, steps in as the necessary conduit for closure.
She delivers Solana's message.
That Solana misses him, is proud of him, and explicitly wants him to love again, confirming that the Fae soulmate clock had run out. It wasn't your time anymore with her.
And the way Rain processes that absolution is immediately followed by violence, which really underscores the brutal, immediate reality of their lives.
Right. During a sudden attack by rogue shifters and half-Fae, a rebel threatens Frelina.
And Rain's instinct just takes over. He shifts into this terrifying warrior mode to protect her, not thinking about duty or guilt, but only Frelina.
He kills the rebel by ripping out his heart, a savage, visceral act, and then immediately confesses his feelings to Ferlina.
That's such a heavy moment, ripping out a heart and then immediately confessing love. He shows his love for her is tied to his deepest, most primal protective instincts.
And he even pulls away from the kiss, insisting, "Not yet, I don't deserve it yet.
But he promises her,
I will deserve it, and when I do, you're never getting rid of me." It's a powerful declaration. He accepts the darkness of his power, but commits to being worthy of her love.
a hard-won, beautiful commitment, cemented just before he and Ferlina are believed dead in the final battle.
A belief that Lesia later reverses.
Meanwhile, Karam and Peli solidify their relationship amidst the grief.
Karam, shattered by the death of his siphon twin, Thishan, is determined to find new meaning and connects strongly with Peli, the wise but deeply apprehensive witch.
And Peli has her own concerns, right?
Oh.
She fears he's just transferring his grief onto her.
She questions if he genuinely wants a relationship or if he's just seeking comfort after a loss. She worries, I don't know if this is really what you want or if you're just sad.
It's a very grounded, mature conflict in the midst of all this fantasy chaos.
And Karam addresses this head-on. He embraces his dual Fae heritage, Vestala and Oak Guards, and according to the lore, his balance is achieved by accessing only one type of magic at a time.
And he affirms his commitment to her.
He promises to follow Peli wherever she goes, even into dangerous realms, just to protect her and find their path forward.
They share a passionate kiss, cementing their relationship built on shared grief, mutual respect, and a commitment to a future that, like Lush and Ivory, brings together different magical factions.
It solidifies their roles as a found family unit before the war explodes.
And finally, Lesia and Merrick's defining moment. Merrick, having organized all of this, seeing Lesia prioritize others even while she's dying, spontaneously proposes marriage.
It's not a romantic proposal. It's a statement of ownership and commitment. He says, I am selfish because I want you in any and all ways I can.
He's basically saying, stop sacrificing yourself. You belong to me now, and I refuse to let you go.
And Lesia agrees immediately, showing her absolute faith and devotion. But Merrick goes a step further, illustrating his commitment not just with words, but with a symbolic action.
He immediately begins the dismantling of Lesia's old Rancière castle.
Which is a major act. He ensures the wealth and resources are divided among the people of Vestala, eliminating any lingering memory of the tyrannical Rancière rule that defined Lesia's painful past.
He is literally tearing down the physical manifestation of her burdens so they can build a shared future free of that toxic legacy.
And their deep emotional commitments pave the way for the final, violent confrontation and Lesia's terrifying rebirth.
Even as she prepares to leave for her own survival, Lesia's focus is still on her friends. Before departing, she requests Reiner's powerful, venomous snake one he bred in his castle to stay and protect the fighting fleet.
That snake, a symbol of Reiner's dark power, is repurposed by Lesia into an agent of protection. It showcases her unique ability to wield darkness for good.
And the snake later proves invaluable, scaring away the Oak Guard's Fae, who feared the water.
Lesia and Merrick then ride a wyvern, specifically Ofor and Ukundran, toward the fighting. The sources stress the importance of the wyverns, noting they fully accept Lesia as one of their own, having formed strong bonds to her soul.
This alliance confirms her status as a queen of immense natural power, beyond Fae or human lineage.
And the wyverns also act as prophets, delivering a crucial thematic warning. They tell Lesia that forging a new path requires sacrifice and shedding the past.
Shedded like snakes shed their skin in the summer or wake up from it.
She must fully embrace the frightening reality of who she is. And they arrive right as the battle intensifies. The Oak Guard's Fae, having identified the key players, launch a focused surprise attack, specifically targeting Lesia and Merrick.
They use powerful Fae water wielders to create a massive wave designed to entrap the wyverns and capture the leaders.
And Merrick responds with the ultimate sacrificial maneuver. He commands the wyverns, via an earlier prearranged promise, to prioritize Lesia's safety, regardless of his own fate.
He separates himself and fights alone, enabling a water-wielding Fae ally to create a towering, protective water wall that shields Lesia and the wyverns.
This is pure desperation. The enemy immediately recognizes the strategy, shouting, "Get to the silver-haired Fae, everyone! Take out those two."
They know Lesia is the linchpin.
And Merrick is sacrificing himself to buy her time.
Trapped in this churning water wall, Lesia collapses. The sources describe her rage and desperation as she believes she has lost her friends again, including Rain, who she assumes is dead in the chaos.
This emotional breakdown, this moment of utter despair and fury, forces the final transformation.
This soul urges her through the water to look at her reflection.
And she confronts the dark queen she always feared becoming. And when she finally accepts her true self, the change is instantaneous and magnificent.
She begins to glow with immense power. Her hair forms what looks like a gilded crown with thorns and branches, symbolizing power earned through pain.
Her eyes turn pure gold. She is the dark queen the gods feared, commanding an army of wyverns and the willing allegiance of souls.
This full manifestation unlocks the astonishing power that defines her new destiny, the power of revival.
She declares that because the souls willingly bound themselves to Merrick, the guardian of death, she, their queen, now has the power to revive those who wish to come back, those who aren't done with life in this realm, if their bond to me is strong enough.
That completely changes the stakes of the war. She can bring back the dead, if their desire to live matches their bond to her.
And she immediately puts this power to the test, reviving Rain, Ferlina, Ardo, Venko, and Zadok, all believed dead in the current chaos, bringing them back onto her wyvern.
The tide of battle is fundamentally shifted, not by force, but by her terrifying capacity to defy death itself.
And Leslie and Merrick then arrive at the unified fleet, just in time for Lush and Ivory's wedding ceremony.
What a dramatic entrance. The political necessity and the magical destiny just converge.
Lush and Ivory solidify their union, marrying and uniting Elo and Vestala, ready to face an enemy fleet twice their size. They are fierce, unified, and committed.
And Leslie accepts Merrick's second, very public proposal, surrounded by cheering fae, humans, shifters, and wyverns.
It's the ultimate statement of acceptance and hope in the face of imminent war.
They also receive a final, critical piece of information from Marlowe, an Oakguard's fae leader, and the brother of the former spy Bruck.
Right. Marlowe approaches the newly formed alliance, and he confirms that Lesia was right about the gods and the curses. He acknowledges the truth about the veiled queens and the need for balance.
And seeing Lesia's power and knowing the hidden truth, he decides he has something very fucking important to do.
Turning his allegiance away from the invasion and toward the greater hidden enemy.
So with the realms united, their partnerships cemented, and the true enemy identified, Lesia and Merrick choose to leave the war behind.
They travel on the wyvern and later horseback, heading out to search for the other life-to-her-death queen.
They accept that their destiny is to face the gods eventually, but that fight requires preparation and balance.
And the final scene is one of profound, earned peace. Lesia finds comfort and happiness with Merrick at her childhood home, finally achieving the last two things she wanted most: time and a shared future.
A moment of terrifying, yet beautiful personal victory.
What an emotionally and magically dense journey through a fate so dark and delicate.
It really was. We started with political chaos and ended with a terrifying acceptance of ultimate power. The political machinations required Lush to sacrifice personal desire for duty.
Which led to an unexpected, fierce love with Ivory.
Right. And meanwhile, Lesia's journey forced her from shunned halfling to the accepted, if terrifying, veiled Queen of Shadows, capable of revival.
The profound theme woven through all of this is the necessity of authentic choice over manufactured fate. Lesia was destined to be a Queen of Shadows, but she only secured her survival.
And the world's stability.
When she chose self-care and authentic love, embracing the terrifying aspects of her power, rather than allowing duty to consume her.
And the single biggest takeaway nugget, the revelation that shatters the entire reality of Havlands,
is that the gods were never truly divine.
They were just ancient, self-interested, power-hungry fae who concentrated their magic and manipulated history to maintain control.
And the guardians and witches were created to maintain balance against this abuse of power. This means the war with the Oakguard's fae was merely a symptom.
The true confrontation is foreshadowed. A war against these manipulative beings masquerading as deities, a confrontation that will require the full alliance of the five awakened queens to restore true natural balance to the realm.
And that leaves us with a provocative thought for you to mull over. Lesia and Merrick only achieved happiness and peace by fully accepting the dangerous, terrifying, and dark aspects of their power and identity, ultimately using it to create life.
So, what power or truth about ourselves do we often run from in our own lives, fearing the consequences or the judgment of others, when fully accepting it might be the only path to the authentic future and fulfillment we truly desire?
And if the most powerful, divine beings in your world are simply self-interested manipulators, what is left to trust? The sources imply that the only true, honest power comes from nature and genuine, hard-won love. What price would you pay to reclaim that power from those who usurped it?
Powerful questions to end on. Thank you for diving deep into the compelling fate saga with us today. We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.